Welcome to another episode of the State of the Bulldogs. Action-packed week. Boys, we have a full squad here with Grant, Mike, Jeb, ETSU coach gone. College football playoff announced. Football signing day happened. Basketball had 2 games. Arizona next week. Happening times. We got message board shout-outs. Got a little love there from Paladin Nation. Appreciate y'all not. All right, but let's start with Around the Horn first, and then we'll dive into everything else. So, first question, who has the easiest path to the Natty? One quick comment to the playoff committee and ESPN. This is not the first time, in fact, that college football has had a playoff, especially college football games on campus in a playoff. We have been doing that for close to 30 years. So, with that said, the FBS, first time they've had a 12-team playoff. Looking at the graph or the chart on YouTube, Mike, we're going to start with you. You're the Vol here. Who has the easiest path to the Natty? And it's not Tennessee.
It's not my Vols, unfortunately.
It's not.
Got snubbed, having to go up to Columbus, and then if we happen to walk away with a win, go to Oregon, right? Or is that second game neutral site?
That'll be neutral site.
Yeah, okay.
Be the Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl, thank you.
I'm not going to get ahead of myself there. I really think Penn State probably. Love SMU, seem like a fun team, but if Penn State can beat SMU, then take on Boise State and then potentially a backup quarterback, Georgia,
right,
to get to the finals. I'm going to say Penn State.
Pretty fortunate draw.
Yeah.
Jeb, what about you?
Yeah, I was going to say Penn State, but I'd also say Texas.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, the only knock on Texas there would be the semifinal round. But, yeah, you're hosting Clemson, who is frankly just not that good this year. And then Arizona State, who's good, but they're not built like Texas. Grant?
Yeah, I was going to lead towards Penn State too, although it is James Franklin's destiny to be the first coach to lose a home playoff game, right? Losing to SMU since he can't win those big games.
It's the noon kick, right? It's the first kick.
Yeah, that's right.
Notre Dame, Indiana. Notre Dame, Indiana is the Friday game. But
yeah, that's right. Noon kick on Saturday. Yeah, Friday. Yeah, it's Penn State, obviously, playing SMU, a frisky SMU team with Kevin Jennings, who's basically a roller coaster, which was that Clemson game was. And obviously Boise State. Then like Mike said, maybe Georgia, or maybe it's O'Reilly, Leonard, Notre Dame. But I still think Penn State, although I do like Jeb's pick of Texas too. It's kind of funny seeing Texas playing Clemson in Texas with Quinn Ewers from Texas and Clemson with Kay Klubnik, also from Texas, same high school area. So that'll be a fun matchup to watch. But I think it's Penn State for sure.
Guys,
they played each other in the state championship in high school, didn't they?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah.
Who won?
I didn't read that part of the article.
I want to say Westlake. I want to say Klubnik did, but
that's right, Mike. We are hobos. I'm just grateful that you read.
I'm not a good reader.
If Georgia had a starting quarterback, they would have the easiest path, right? With the bye, and then those 5 teams in their way before the national championship.
I was kind of looking at the teams that had a first round game. Yeah, I think Georgia has the easiest path for sure of anybody.
Yeah. Oregon really got hosed. Ohio State, Tennessee, Oregon, arguably 3 of the top teams in the playoff, all got each other in the first and second round. So good luck, boys. Good luck.
I get why they made the bye for Arizona State and Boise State, but it also just doesn't make any sense. Get that out of here.
As soon as we ran through our first dynasty in NC Dubs, we knew that it made 0 sense. All right, so Heisman's this weekend. Guys, if you were a voter, if you had a vote, would it be going for Genty or Travis? Jeb, we'll start with you.
Genty might be the newest member to my dynasty team.
Chill.
So,
we got a long way to go till that, Jeb.
I mean, it could be either of these guys. I'm gonna go Genty.
Mike?
I'm gonna go Genty as well. He's putting up insane numbers. Travis isn't putting up. He's putting up good numbers, but if it's the two-way player in him that is getting all the attention.
Grant?
Yeah, Travis is the best player in college football. 92 catches, 1,100 yards, 14 touchdowns. And again, obviously playing two ways obviously helps that regard. But I think Hunter will probably get it. Although just going through Genty's game logs and saying he had his lowest rushing total all year was 127 yards against Portland State. He had 267 against Georgia Southern, 192 against Oregon, and then he had 209 in the Mountain West title game against UNLV, and the 226 the week before against Oregon State. But yeah, just a monster season from him. But I think Hunter, with the name recognition, probably will get the award.
It's so sad. I don't think they should allow voters to vote early. I think it should matter how far you carry your team. Usually it's the best player on the best team. And if you're just judging between Genty and Travis in that respect, it's Genty hands down. But here we are. Travis is going to run away with it, and it's going to be just not that exciting. All right. Last question, boys. Who has the biggest share of our singular brain cell? Jeb.
I think we all have 25%.
I love that.
Mike?
Let me pull my calculator out to make sure that math adds up.
Yeah, 25 plus 25 times 4. Yeah.
I mean, Jeb's getting that NBA at Wake,
Carry the one,
right.
yeah.
Hot
That's
shot
right.
over there.
That's true.
I haven't graduated yet, but
Well,
Yeah.
Grant, we know Grant has the lowest. We'll talk to Grant. You can go ahead.
I did not see that coming, but saw that coming at the same time. The Furman message board really loved our last episode where we talked about, them basketball.
For like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
we
exactly,
mentioned
yeah.
Furman, and I frankly didn't even remember the segment. That's how memorable
Yeah.
their season has been thus far.
Yeah, I was just scrolling randomly on a Friday afternoon. Oh, let's see what the Furman message board had to say. And then I saw Samford podcast as the title of a thread. I was like, oh, shoot, here we go. So I started scrolling. WTF, all caps, are these dudes talking about? I'm not sure these 4 hobos, apostrophe S, not plurals S with apostrophe, combined to form one single brain cell with 10 periods. I feel embarrassed for them. ... The fact that Furman is sitting at 8-1 has these guys all up in their feelings. And then they continued. They want to talk about our Kansas loss, but gloss over the fact that Samford got smoked at Purdue last year. At least we played a competitive first half, unlike they did. I wish their team last year, which finished 4th in the league, which lost to Samford in the SoCon tournament, and they had at Samford as well, playing against Zach Edey. I would have loved to see that team, play against one of the best players who's ever played college basketball, basically.
Are they wrong, though, guys? I mean, we think about Furman 24/7, 365, don't we?
nightmares every night.
Nightmares.
That's all I think about.
Every night.
At the moment I saw the thread title, I knew it was going to be about these jokers. To be fair, they openly talk about how much they dislike Furman.
Yeah, we don't like Furman.
Yeah, I don't listen to what they said, and of course you didn't. But I'm sure it's ridiculous. It is a Samford podcast, though, so I certainly wouldn't expect objectivity. So
They apparently don't listen to our football episodes. Feel like we're pretty objective.
Objectively, Furman looks good this year, better than we thought they would, considering the drama
Unfortunately.
that took place last year. Kind of thought that they had no shot. So good for them for being 8-1 on a schedule that's probably consistent with our schedule so far.
Whoa, Mike. The Belmont win, though. The Belmont win.
Yeah, that was a top tier win. That's quad one win for sure.
Quad
right?
one.
Quad one. Yeah.
Belmont Sweet 16, baby. Jeb.
Yeah, Grant, how many starters did Kansas return from their last year's tournament team?
4?
Yeah.
4 of them? 4 of the 5?
I think maybe 5.
3 of the 5. Dickinson.
3 of the 5.
That guy we
3 of the
really
5.
don't like is not there.
Yeah,
He's
KJ Adams
so
and
hard.
KJ Adams and the point guard. DeWan, I forget his last name, but yeah, they returned 3 starters and then one of the top portal classes, obviously, in the country.
Wouldn't it be a better comparison to compare Samford playing against Kansas last year in the tournament and then Furman playing Kansas this year?
Well, Jeb, we only have one brain cell. We can't make that
Oh,
connection.
yeah.
It doesn't fit our narrative with the apostrophe S hobos we got going on over here.
That's right. All right. Anyways, we gave them way too much runtime. South Carolina State.
Tune in next week.
Not on ESPN3, unfortunately. But Grant, you kept everybody informed. So you're going to run us through this game. It was fortunately a dub.
It was. I watched the same amount of basketball y'all did of this game, which was 0. So I guess I'll go and lead this way. It's basically the Trey Ford show. He had 28 minutes, 25 points. He was literally like 6 of his first 7 from 3, finished 8 of 10 from 3, 8 of 13 from the floor. He's slowly becoming the guy we all thought he was going to be, especially with what we saw against South Carolina State on Sunday. It's become the Trey Ford show, and then Jaden Brunell in 17 minutes, extremely efficient, 7 of 9, 1 of 1 from 3, 2 boards, 17 points, and then Colin Holloway, 10 points with 5 assists and no rebounds, funny enough, but still 4 of 9 from the field. It was kind of a slow start. Samford making a bunch of shots, and South Carolina State made a bunch of shots. It's really it was basically a shootout, and Samford found a way to get it done. Losing the first half only by 1, and some key Ryland Jones free throws at the end made sure that Samford got the 88-81 win on the road. So,
are we concerned about how close the game was? I mean, South Carolina State is not good. And it took Trey Ford being 8 for 10 from 3. I mean, I guess every game's different, and you take what you can get each game, but still.
What does that math work out to be, 8 for 10, percentage-wise?
I don't know. Do you just have to, carry a 1? They didn't teach me division, Mike. I don't know.
I hope we don't teach math at Samford. 8 of 13, 8 of 10. Samford was 15 for 30 as a team from 3. South Carolina State did have that close loss to Xavier, so they're kind of riding high coming into this one. They play, funny enough, Furman this week, so we'll see how they fare. Although that is at Furman, so who knows with that one.
When Furman wins by 30, we're gonna get blown up. I mean, guys, this is.
I don't know about we. You're talking about yes.
A South Carolina State team that lost to Jacksonville University. Okay.
Go Dolphins.
How in the world did you know that?
We play them in baseball, so we know.
There you go. Marshall.
We are.
Okay. 82-53 L to Marshall. Xavier, respectable program. I have no idea if they're any good this year. And then a loss to.
You know who plays for Xavier?
Wow, yes. Who does play for Xavier?
Wait, you mentioned this, but who is it?
Furman great Marcus Foster.
Oh, not Big E. Marcus Foster.
Big E plays for Auburn. Marcus Foster went in 24 minutes, went 1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3 with 8 points against SC State.
Absolute
balled out.
Stud Marcus
Balled
Foster.
out.
Come to Elmwood, baby.
And then Big East played 5 minutes at Duke, but that's okay.
It's probably a season high for him.
We're just finding connections all over the place. We're only 13 minutes in. Good job, guys. Keep going.
Oh, that's good, Mike. That's good. So 88-81, Trey Ford 8 for 10 from 3, which is just wild. We are 15 for 30 as a team, which is remarkable. Only
missed 4 free throws too. 11 for 15. So
whoa.
Well, we only shot 15. We would have continued to miss if we shot more, but and we'll talk about this in the Austin Peay game, but again, Colin Holloway only 10 points, Austin Peay less than 10 points. So following up, is it concerning to only beat a South Carolina State team by 7? Is the bigger concern here Colin Holloway still not finding his groove with conference play 10 days away, 12 days away?
Yeah, New Year's Day, yeah.
I'd say he's underperforming to the preseason All-SoCon level talent that we thought he was going to be. Not just this podcast, but SoCon media.
A lot of hype.
He's definitely been underperforming. He's not playing poorly. I mean, he's still on the court, but he's not taking over games like we expected him to.
No, and the NIL package relatively for even a school like Samford that he's probably getting kind of. You have to ask the question: was it worth it? So far, no. We will see though as SoCon play.
He's shown flashes. I would say the bigger concern is the combination of him and Julian Brown, both kind of not bringing a lot to the table so far.
Yeah, only 3 points in the South Carolina State win.
Yeah, at least with Colin, it's a little bit more defensively. You knew he'd bring that kind of edge on that side, just so whether the offense can kind of pick up, especially with this hot start. Also want to shout out Rylan real quick. 9 points, 7 assists, 0 turnovers. So just another guy that doesn't turn the ball over at all.
It's not bad.
Rylan is so good.
If I'm going to look up where he sits in assist to turnover ratio real quick.
I feel like we need to start raising money for his lawsuit to get more eligibility. Just throwing that one out there. But Colin played 30 minutes. If you're in 30 minutes in a Bucky system, you need to score more than 10 points. If you're only going to have 5 assists with 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
That's not enough, especially when I don't know, a guy like even a guy like Holloway only gets 18 minutes. Now, granted, his game was even worse. 3 points, 3 turnovers, no assists.
0 rebounds from Colin Holloway.
Ooh.
That's bad.
That's weird. So
to be 6'6", 220 and to playing against SC State to not have any rebounds.
Yeah, when a guy like Lucas Walls has 5.
Yeah. Good job, Lucas. Get in there. There you go.
Dude, Lucas might be the fan favorite this year. He's flashing in good moments.
He's right behind Larry as a crowd favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, Larry still has. Larry just the name first off gives him an edge. But they both play really hard, and everybody likes a guy that plays like that.
Rylan is 13th in the country in assist to turnover ratio. So
he's a stud. Wow. He's a stud.
Honestly, thought it'd be higher.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the name that we're bad against? What's the one name that will score 30 plus points every game?
Jakari. No,
do we have a Jakari in the SoCon?
I don't think we do. Fingers crossed, at least, right?
Because Austin Peay certainly did not have a Jakari. And South Carolina State did not have a Jakari. We still gave up 81 points to South Carolina State. I feel a lot better after only giving up 47 to Austin Peay. But we'll talk about Austin Peay in a minute. They don't really have a starting lineup. So little caveat there. But go ahead, Mike.
Well, we can talk about Austin Peay, but we got to get better in the first half of games, offensively and defensively.
Yeah,
you can just tell by watching these games that we are substantially more talented and athletic than these teams that we're playing, and we should not be playing them this close. So I'm concerned. I'll be honest.
Yeah, the South Carolina State result is concerning. Let's just get to Austin Peay. Any other comments on South Carolina State? We couldn't watch the game, so there's not a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah, I think we covered it all. Yeah, for all that we could.
All right, so Austin Peay. Just to give you all I went to South Carolina State's website. They don't even have an athletics main tab. It's a sub tab. So that just shows you how important. Anyway, Austin Peay, 72-47 dub, 26-22 halftime score. Ugly first half, to your point, Mike. All right, boys, let's get into it. Mike, so continue on your concerning thoughts. Anything any particular? So you said our slow start. What else did you say?
I just like our slow start offensively and defensively in the first half of games. It's putting us in a position where we're having to play from behind.
Yeah.
Week in and week out. And against Austin Peay, luckily they were not that great in the first half either. And so we kept it close. And then in the second half, just ran away with it. But they were also down 2 or 3 starters. Isn't that right, Grant?
3 starters.
3 starters. So should not have been that close in the first half. Our defense looked a lot better in the second half. But the first couple of games this season, it wasn't really concerning because this team's starting to figure out how to play with each other. But at this point, we're 2 games away from SoCon play. So I would hope that these defensive issues would be figured out by now.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. Fortunately, half the SoCon is as bad as some of these teams we've been playing. But against the upper echelon of the SoCon, they're pretty good. So, and you're right, Mike. We look so much more athletic. We seem much more athletic than last season. But for whatever reason, it seems discombobulated at random times. And we're just lucky that teams aren't good enough to take advantage. Austin Peay shot 12 rounded. 12% from 3. 12. We won't play a team that bad from the arc the rest of the season.
Yeah, they were 0 for 11 or 0 for 9 in the first half and then 2 of 8 in the second. So, yeah.
That is absurd.
That's pretty funny, actually.
So bad.
Only 2 guys in double digits. Then one poor guy that one 0 for 6 from 3. Not sure why he was allowed to shoot more than 3. I feel like once you're 0 for 3, you're done for the night. Put the ball away, pass it.
0 for 6. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
Like,
yeah.
what do we need to change though? Is it just rebounding, like second chance points instead of like getting back on defense, or what?
Yeah, it's mainly been rebounding. I mean, you out rebounded Austin Peay by 5, but you were at least -5 or 6 in that department against South Carolina State. It really just starts with rebounding and avoiding, like you said, those second chance opportunities, and still trying to find the right matchups. Bucky kind of talked about that post game. I can play that in a little bit, but kind of just like finding the right matchups and trying to figure out which guys to play with who, and he's still kind of figuring that out right now before you kind of get to conference play where you really need to have that figured out, which is why you've kind of seen Isaiah West get the start of the last few games. Only 4 points, but he was plus 16, and he played 20 minutes too. So he's been playing a little bit better. So Bucky's just trying to find different ways. But yeah, it's really about that defensive rebounding first of all.
Yeah, that's a good point about he's still tinkering with the lineups. I mean, there's a significant difference between the minutes played between those two games amongst the players. I mean, you have Lucas Walls and Colin Holloway, who played the most minutes at 27 apiece. The prior game, you had Rylan Jones and our guy that we were just talking about. Now I'm blanking.
Brunel or Julian Brown.
Oh no, Colin Holloway. Sorry, I said him here. I was thinking Josh Holloway when I said that. No, so yeah, Colin is still continuously playing the most, but Lucas Wall's up with 27 minutes. Maybe that had to do with the fact that we ran away in the second half.
Yeah.
And it afforded him the opportunity to tinker a little bit more. I don't know.
And Larry's kind of been the first guy off the bench too, like to bring that little like defensive spark a little bit too. But I wanted
Larry came in with 18 and a half minutes left in the first half. So
yeah, he's been making quick subs
early on. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's what Bucky said about like Isaiah kind of like finding his role defensively, and then along with just trying to find those right matchups.
Yeah, you're trying to find the guys that play the best together. And one thing about Isaiah, he can have such a massive impact on the game, whether he scores or doesn't score. He moves the ball doesn't stick with him. He can finish at the rim, but most importantly, he's going to do every small thing that matters. He's a smart defender. He's a great rebounder. He knows the scouting report. So all those little things that equate to winning, he's going to do. And you need that to complement a Rylan Jones, a Trey Fort, a Colin, a Jaden who can all score the basketball. So it's really this time of year is about finding the right rotations, who plays well with who, and that way when you get to league play, you kind of have a better idea and a better picture for the way that you need to substitute.
Interesting. I like to hear that though about Isaiah West, because that kind of speaks to his what'd you say, Grant? Plus 16.
Yeah, he was plus 16 while the team was on the floor with him. So.
Yeah, I think it was a little shocking when he got entered into the starting lineup a couple weeks ago. Maybe not so shocking that Julian Brown got taken out of the starting lineup, but that West was the guy that got put in. I kind of thought Lucas Walls would have been next man up, but maybe it just goes back to what Bucky just said there about finding the right guys to play together and kind of having those hockey line type or line changes, and they know that Lucas is going to be that guy on that second line versus Isaiah West being the defender on the first line rather than a scorer.
Yeah, it goes back to Bucky's Mountain Brook days. Basically, first 5, 2 minutes, next 5, let's get the next 5 rolling in. Like even following the live stats for South Carolina State, like I saw multiple times, like not out of a timeout, it's like during play where like 3 or 4 guys are going in at the same time, basically just trying to shuffle in. Maybe that's conserving energy. Maybe that's not. Maybe that's still trying to find matches. But yeah, still just kind of tinkering with what he wants to do before Jan 1st against Citadel rolls around.
An observation I've seen is Riley Allenspach is kind of a bellwether of whether we're playing well offensively or not. The more points he scores, the less we're playing well offensively, because it seems like his scoring opportunities, if they're not second chance points, are because he's stuck in the post and no one is really doing anything. And so somebody has to take it to the rim, and then he's the one that inevitably does. When he's around the 8 to 10 point range, it seems like that's a nice little sweet spot. But like was tied for leading scorer in this game. And if he's tied for leading scorer, unless he's draining threes, which he did not make a single one, he was 0 for 2. I mean, that's not bad, but 0 for 2. That's something to watch as you're watching the game. Now, obviously, we saw the Kansas game where he brought us back into it, so it's not always bad when he's putting a lot of big numbers up offensively, but something to watch because the number one pain point in this offense is the ball doesn't move as freely as it needs to be moving.
Yeah, Bucky said the same thing at halftime against South Carolina State. The ball kind of sticking, and then once it's like, oh, Riley's in the post, hopefully he does something cool because otherwise he's not going to kick you out and go find and move and rotate the ball. So that is something, like you said, Sam, they need to work on.
And we saw that in the Cornell game. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, sometimes it sticks with Riley in the paint. Like he'll make this incredible post move, and you think he's just like he's got the look that he wants, and then he tries to make another move, and it's like one move too many, and he gets stuck with the ball and has to kick it back out. I wish that he would. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or what, but I feel like sometimes he's got his man beat, and he just needs to go to the basket rather than make an additional move or rather than kick the ball back out.
Yeah, it helps to be more decisive too. And if he does miss, you can have other guys crashing in for those second chance opportunities. So
yeah, especially because in league play he's going to have a size advantage. So we'll see how that develops. But the takeaway, I guess, is Isaiah West is a nice plug-in for the offense, as Coach said, to keep the ball moving. And Trey Ford has continued to emerge as the biggest scoring threat from deep. And it seems like the team ceiling is dictated by how well Colin Holloway can produce. And if he can't, we're going to be limited by that. And if he can, we can kind of go as far as we want to, within reason.
Assuming we can get our paint defense figured out, our defense around the rim.
Yeah.
Yes. But a lot of that, though, I think the paint defense is a lot like in football compared to the secondary defense. It's all of the other things that have a huge impact on how well or poorly they're playing. Because if you think about it, they're the last chance of stopping them, right? It's the
you can't.
Effort. So if you're playing better on the perimeter, if you're stopping the ball from the drive, if you're deflecting the pass on the inbound, like there's things you can do to boost it without necessarily having.
But it's also
like back there.
It's also boxing out well, and like
yes, dude. We don't box
dominating
out.
It that way.
We don't shoot free throws and we don't box out. My goodness. Oh my god.
Does it have anything to do with like
effort?
The lineups? Effort. Like we talked about last week, like the team's just been lazy, right? In the first half. It seems like the last like several games.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, more to what I was saying, when you don't play disciplined around the perimeter, you're not in a position to even get a rebound. Like we got guys who are on the baseline, you're not going to get a board. We got guys way too far away from the rim when the ball goes up, you're not going to get a board. I mean, we just have guys all over the place, it feels like, or they're right under the hoop, and you're just like, what are you doing?
Being out of place defensively, I think, is a problem, but it's something Bucky's addressed, and it's
you can get better at it with practice.
When you kind of switch between the zone and man so frequently, it's probably so hard to figure out where you're supposed to be, and you get these, you lose your man, and if you lose your man one time on one pass, it could open up the whole offense for the opposing team. And then a lot of the paint points are fast break points when the press breaks down. Like I think looking at Austin Peay had 28 points in the paint, 10 fast break points. I'm assuming a fast break point is likely going to be a point in the paint. So
maybe a pull-up three, but
not sure. Yeah, it could be, but
they're in the paint or a corner three when you're trying to get guys all the way down the court and you're leaving with Riley's got 2-on-1. He's got to decide which guy to go to, and which evidently ends up leaving the corner three. He did talk about that, like he did against Michigan State too, just like switching between man and zone, like you talked about, just finding a way. And I think in February they'll figure that out and have a better understanding of what to do when they want to do that, especially when they're playing bigger teams in bigger games. Or Bucky, like even the same possession, he'll go from man to zone, and I'm sure we'll see a ton of that against Arizona too next week.
Yeah, I feel like his thing is like first pass, like you start in zone and then first pass, switch to man. Just it's kind of what we've observed, but
yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, that is hard.
The most frustrating thing for us this season as fans is going to be seeing how athletic and how good individually these players are, and then that versus how poorly they might play as a unit. Like, because we see the ceiling of this team, it's wild.
But that's
we don't always see that.
That's a Western Carolina or a UNCG thing. That's not I don't want that to be Samford and Buckyball.
Well, no, I hear you, but that's where we are at this point. We see the athleticism. We don't see the finished product. Like last year's team was not as – I mean, Chore is probably the X factor between the two teams. But
who?
Yeah. The guy at the end of the bench in the Kansas State games. But this team, if it comes together, we won't be as frustrated. Watching this team against Austin Peay, that's what I'm afraid of, is we might see in conference play. We'll see. I like that perspective, Mike. We don't want to be UNCG or Western, especially UNCG. My God.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like if we were saying this like 5 years ago, like with like Padgett, like just like just how far we've come from like that point.
Oh,
where it's like, okay,
goodness.
gosh, we've gone from oh my gosh, we can't win a game. We've gone from oh my gosh, we gave up 80 points. What are we doing? I was like, this.
Yes.
It's just a great turnaround.
Yes, we make threes. We can dunk the basketball. We can run up and down the court. It's night and day. It's like our bead league intramural basketball team versus now, basically. Good times.
Not far off.
Unfortunately. All right, boys. Anything else? Jeb, any other comments before we get to football?
No, I think it might be taking longer than we suspected, or wanted at the beginning of the season. But Bucky, I think we have faith that Bucky's gonna be able to figure out the lineups, and coming into conference play, or particularly like later into the season, we'll get some steam under us in the first half and stuff. So it'll be. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, and
but
it
I
helps.
have to be.
It helps. Let me go to our schedule right quick. It helps that the conference schedule is pretty light at first. Yeah, we have Citadel, Western, VMI, UNCG, Mercer. Those are the bottom rung of the conference right now. So our first 5 games in conference should be not automatic wins, but easy wins. And then it gets a little bit tougher. But we don't see Furman until halfway through and then at the end. So it stacks up nicely for the trend that we're witnessing, where we're getting a little bit better. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we are still in the tunnel.
No games this week with exams, which is going to be awkward. And then
we got Arizona next week, baby.
They go to Tucson the 18th, Wednesday. So
what a boring week. No football, no college football, no Samford basketball.
We got Army-Navy. We have Army-Navy.
I respect the troops,
American tradition. Yeah,
dude,
I
know.
Come on. All right, so football signing day.
As a guy who actually has a team in the college football playoffs, that's all I care about.
Hey,
I mute his mic right now. Hold on one
Madeline
second.
is from Boise State Broncos, baby. We have Bandwagon Vols. I'm not going to count them, but I cheer for them. And Boise State, who we probably have more of a connection with.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, so
I like Boise State, dude.
Thank you.
This team is fun.
I hated them until
everybody in our generation likes Boise State after 2006.
We don't chill.
We're gonna kick you off the show altogether.
All right, football signing day. So it was signing day across the nation. A lot of fireworks coming from all over the place with NIL coming in at the last second to steal kids. But overall, hard to say what this class will be like. It seems promising, but we lost over 40 players, including walk-ons, and only signed 14. Now, the nice thing is all 14 of these guys are high schoolers, so that's nice. And Hatcher made some comments where they're trying to get back to where he admitted that we've been portal heavy these past few years, which we don't like, and I don't think is a recipe for success on the FCS level because the hit rate is just so low. And we're trying to get back to more of the high school development system, which, I mean, look, we all know the pros and cons of each. The biggest con of trying to develop a high schooler is you have a kid for 2 years, he shows some promise, and then he gets poached. I think that's a more sustainable path for success, because once you instill the foundation and principles that a program has you can kind of start plugging players in and producing some kind of consistent product as opposed to just the smorgasbord of transfers that we get. I mean, some of these guys suck. But we didn't know that. But anyway, so we signed 14 guys. I'll run through them first, and then we can talk about whoever y'all want to. So first off, we got Cam Bland, running back from Sewanee, Georgia. He had offers from Austin Peay, Navy, Air Force, a couple of others. Nicholas Bookman, wide receiver, also from Sewanee, different high school, though. He was only offered by Marist and Sewanee from what I could tell, so not as coveted as Cam Bland, the running back. But one thing to note, he squatted almost 500 pounds, which for a small wide receiver seems like a lot.
Insane.
Yeah, I mean, you expect that out of your freshman lineman, but for a wide receiver, I thought that was impressive. Benjamin Darnell, offensive lineman from Chattanooga. We're not going to say his high school because they suck. Shout out, though, to Macaulay, who won their 4th or 5th straight state title, or 4 out of 5. Back-to-back wins. Baylor, baby, let's go.
What happened?
Benjamin lost that game, so that's where he went to high school. He was offered by Fordham, Wofford, UT Martin, VMI, Buffalo. Buffalo, the lone FBS offer I saw. Yale and Austin Peay, so pretty good sounding prospect just based on the offers. Parker Peacock, offensive lineman out of Florida. He was offered by Jackson State and UT Martin. And then the crown jewel of the recruiting class, Cannon Pig, tight end out of Florence, was a 3-star. Offers from Wake Forest, Kentucky, Troy, Southern Miss, South Alabama, Arkansas State, UAB, among others. He was the guy that, if you go to the Samford announcement, Hatch has like a page of comments about this guy. So very excited about him. Apparently he was hurt his whole senior year, so that may be one reason why we were able to get him. I don't know how many of those were preferred walk-on offers. Doesn't really specify, but that might have played a factor. He also has a family at Samford at the moment. That always helps. Brady Stober, quarterback, Hickory, North Carolina, offers from Mercer, William and Mary, Navy, Charleston Southern, Davidson, VMI. I was joking with y'all earlier. I think we're going to start running the triple option. We got all these guys getting offers from the service academies, including the quarterback. At least we know he can run. Will Turner, the 4th, out of Gainesville, Georgia. He was offered by ETSU and Shorter, but I did note he was offered from Lenore Ryan, so kind of more of a hidden gem maybe, because those guys have a pretty good eye for talent, considering Mercer is currently in the quarterfinals of the playoff with their entire team. Torrey Ward, 6'3" wide receiver out of Helena. He was offered by EKU and UT Martin. And then Bryce Whitley, another wide receiver, 4'4", 40. Fast little white kid, offered by Georgia Southern, possibly Coastal Carolina and NTSU. That was a little difficult to decipher. He may have just gotten preferred walk-ons, if anything, but he was offered by Georgia Southern. And then lastly, on offense, Tristan Williams. This kid might be legit. Running back from Phoenix City. Like I said, guys, we're going to be running the triple option. 2 great running back prospects and a running quarterback. Offered by West Georgia, Navy, Jacksonville State. Shout out to what they just won, Conference USA.
Yeah, Rich Rod. Yep.
Yeah, pretty. That program's on the rise. It just stinks that they used to be our rival. And then UNA among some others, but the class was heavy on the offense. I was heavy on the offense. We only signed 4 defenders. Romello Cooper, 3-star player, D-inch from Chelsea, Alabama. He was 247, had him as a top 70 player in the state, which is pretty sweet. He was offered by Tennessee State, UNA, Austin Peay, UT Martin. Got a kid named Kelton Crisp, D-in from Gallatin, Tennessee, offered by UT Martin, Army, Elon, Richmond. So this kid's pretty good. And then Mike, preferred walk-on offer to Tennessee. I was telling y'all, if we can get all the preferred walk-ons in the SEC, we're running train through the
Quite
circle.
exciting.
Dylan Henderson, 3-star corner from Alabama. He was offered most notably by Memphis. Also had offers from several HBCUs, including Alabama State and Alabama A&M. He could be good. He could be good. Coach Hatcher really he talked about him for a moment. Seems to like him a lot. And then last but not least, J.D. Methvin, D lineman out of Starkville. He had 2 D1 offers, I could tell, Murray State and then UT Rio Grande Valley, and then a lot of pretty much every community college in Mississippi and some Division IIs. But I wanted to include who else offered these kids to kind of give y'all a framework, because I mean, otherwise you're just a shot in the dark. Like every D lineman is 6'3", 6'4", 280. Every wide receiver is 5'10", $180. It's just hard to see if these kids are any good. And then all high schools of all sizes. But I would say based on who else was offering, this was pretty good class. Only a few of them where we look like we were stretching for kids who other schools really didn't see much in. And those are just public. Those are offers that the kids announce publicly. There could be more. Hard to say. But that was a lot. What are our...
It's a great breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yep.
I was leaning towards Tory Ward, 6'3", 190 receiver from Helena, 3-year starter at Helena, second team All-Region. He's going to play in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. He caught 66 passes, 902 yards, and 10 tuds as a senior. So he's
excited.
He's grown every year, 6'3", 190. He had 208 yards as a junior, and then he had 463 yards as a senior, 902 yards total over his junior and senior season. So yeah, 6'3", 190, big size. Hatch loves to sign as many wide receivers as possible, especially with the loss you're going to have with Brendan in the portal, DJ, who's graduated, and then Ian Cousins graduated as well.
Yep. I will say the drawback on Ward is he may not be that fast. There was a comment on his bio, fast for his size. That's code word for just not fast.
Not fast.
That's just code word for not fast. But he is 6'3". And he's a local guy.
It's like not that big.
Yeah, long strides, yeah.
I mean,
it's Jennings' replacement then.
Yeah.
Is Helena a good high school? Are they like
solid?
What size are they?
They are. It changes every 2 years when they reclassify.
Oh wow!
I want to say they're 5A now. I want to say they're 5A.
How many A's we got in Alabama?
There's 7. There's 7.
Dang.
So yeah,
it's a lot of divisions. It's a lot of admin.
Yeah,
sounds like there's a lot of power hungry people who just need a little kingdom. But Mike,
but less of a private school presence than Tennessee.
Yeah, less private schools. They really don't want anything to do with private. That's another episode where they kind of do anything to get away from private Christian schools and whatnot. But still, 7 classes in Alabama.
Any other guys on the offensive side? I mean, Cannon Big seems like a beast.
Brady Stober, do we have highlights?
I don't. Grant, do you have any highlights on Brady?
I can. Give me 1 second. I just closed the tab right now, so hold on.
His
Hickory and C, baby.
That's right, Jeb. His biggest
big Rick Barnes
plus sounded like he's an intelligent quarterback. So maybe not the most athletic or biggest arm, but he's a good leader and he's smart. That is one thing y'all mentioned. We were joking about all the service academies. So at least we know we're getting some quality kids.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some highlights. Let's see. He aired it out.
All right.
Pretty nice little 40-yard pass, right? Well, 35-yard pass. Let's not give him too much credit.
Here's 130 to 30. Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
That was the same play.
It was like the same play.
Sick.
Jeb, enlighten us here. Hickory, North Carolina, small town. What's the small town high school football quality like in North Carolina?
I've always said that, I think North Carolina high school football is like a really good pool of players for college football, and you guys have always obviously trashed on that. I'm obviously biased.
We love to trash on it.
No, there are some good players that come out of North Carolina. Hickory's I would say there's probably a lot of good baseball players that come out of Hickory. That area over there. There's a lot of good baseball players, but yeah, I mean
that's where Lenore Ryan is, isn't it?
Is that where Lenore Ryan is?
Around it's Western North Carolina. I mean,
Rick Barnes is from there, and I'm pretty sure he went to Lenore Ryan.
Yeah, it's in Hickory. Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
Look at that, Mike. geography whiz over here. Can't do
Yeah.
math,
No-
but at least you know a map.
A notable alumni, first man mentioned, Rick Barnes. There you go.
Rick Barnes.
Coach
That
of
was-
the number one team in college basketball. Go throw that out there.
For now.
Jeb, you reminded me, your baseball comment sparked something. A ton of these kids play basketball, and a common trend was making a little joke. I hope, you don't go walk on for Bucky. So the class overall seems very athletic, and we're talking linemen as well who are good at basketball. So that's a plus. I'd rather have some hogs up front than some twinkle toes. But hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah, a lot of good professional football players. They came from North Carolina, played both basketball and football in college, things like that.
Don't think we have any NFL players on this signing class, but you never know.
No,
You never know.
I don't remember it's been several years now since we've had.
Who was that? Who was that Miami tight end who also played basketball?
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah,
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham. That's what
Jimmy
I was thinking
Graham.
of.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grant.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham.
We need some Jimmy Grahams up here.
Jimmy, yeah.
Yeah, give me all the guys that play two sports in high school. More dual sport guys, the better for sure.
Hold on. Scratch the fact that I just said Isaiah Thomas because I'm clearly not thinking.
Yeah,
Isaiah Thomas is what?
I'm not editing that comment. We have not done anything yet to really edit the.
I met the criteria. I just wasn't selected. Yeah.
So another interesting comment Hatcher made, and then we can move on. He said he basically said what we knew all along when we hired Braithwaite, that our depth chart was not in line with his coaching or with his scheme. And it's interesting that out of the four guys we got two lengthy defensive ends, which are a cornerstone of any 4-3 defense. So that's promising. The not so promising.
Hey, they could be the next Julius. They could be the next Julius Peppers.
Maybe
play basketball.
That would be amazing.
And football.
Yeah.
It would be, Jeb. It would be amazing if Romello Cooper turned out to be the next Julian Thomas. Is it Thomas?
No, Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers. I don't know why I thought Julian.
Yeah, he played basketball and football at North Carolina. So
I didn't realize he played basketball too. Obviously, he's a freak Hall of Fame athlete, but yeah. So 2 DNs, 1 corner. This just shows me we're about to take a heck of a lot of defensive transfers.
Yeah.
Restack the DB room again.
10 to 14 transfers.
Run it back.
I would bet 8 of those are defense.
All right. And then he'll add his usual receiver count too. He loves portal receivers too. So.
Oh, I meant to ask you all. So the roster limits that are part of that house settlement that the FBS is implementing is the FCS also having to implement the roster limits of 85 scholarship players?
That is a great question. No, because they have less scholarships already than FBS does, so I don't think that will change.
Okay,
I don't think
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because that might have been. I mean, because losing 40 some odd guys, which includes walk-ons, is just an absurd number to replace. And then only signing. I don't even know why we had that many in the senior class to begin with. That just seems bloated. But I guess if you want to walk on at Samford, who cares, So,
yeah.
All right. State of the SoCon. Any other comments on signing day? Couple 3 stars. Kind of dope. No 4 stars.
Are we observing players coming out of high school playing at schools like Samford and then jumping to bigger schools after?
So, yeah, my guess, Jeb, is this Cannon Pig kid. Basically, any kid who had a D1 offer, Benjamin Darnell, offensive line,
that's what
Cannon
I was
Pig
thinking.
tight end, Dylan Henderson offer from Memphis. It's one of those things where it's you go get playing time, you go get developed, you get a little bit bigger, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, and then transfer out. But I would rather have a kid like a Brendan Jenkins for 2 years and get production out of him than have some.
You would?
Then have some 1 year super senior transfer come in and not even see the field because he just sucks. Plus, younger guys just play harder. You know,
Is there ever any chance you can just retain these guys, or is it all like?
yeah, I mean, look, we all love Samford.
dream.
We didn't transfer.
Nobody
with
was
the D1,
offering me a couple $1,000, $100,000 to transfer.
yeah, with the
Not
D1F,
100,000 for football, but
Correct.
yeah, no one paid me 6 figures to go, as Sam said, sit at Kansas State. So, actually 7 figures in his case. Sorry.
You give me 10 grand, I'm transferring to Birmingham Southern. No, I'm kidding. All right, state of the SoCon. As we said at the top of the show, ETSU news of the week: Trey Lamb poached by Tulsa.
Wild.
Big. That's a 1 year gone. Now, granted, he got hired because he had a pretty successful year after 2 great years at Gardner-Webb, but still, good for Trey Lamb. Tulsa got a gem of a coach, and ETSU's back on the side. They thought they'd found their guy. Maybe they'll call Birmingham for a coach. We can only hope. Mercer beat Rhode Island in their playoff game, squeaked by them. But they're going up to Fargo, take on North Dakota State. We know that trip a little too well. Who's to say who will win? I mean, I've not been a believer of this Mercer team all year, so I'm going with North Dakota State. But maybe they'll pull off the crazy upset. Who knows?
Well, we'll find out.
Mike, you
Trey
you
Lamb,
look
that's
like you wanna say
wild.
something. Yeah.
no, I was just going to say I was a little shocked when he took the ETSU job. It felt like he was selling himself short a little bit there, leaving from Gardner-Webb, having back-to-back
Back-to-back
FCS playoff
playoffs.
appearances. I was thinking maybe ETSU went big and offered him a lot of assurance that they were looking to grow that program, or something to entice him to come to Johnson City, because it seemed like he could have probably gone to a higher level FCS or low level FBS school out of Gardner-Webb.
And they just gave him a 4-year extension after the year 2. They extended him after 1 year, 7 and 5 years. So
yeah,
crazy. I think, as I told you, the last Tulsa coach made $1.9 million, so he's going to be making
Nice
some
pay
bank.
bump.
Probably at least in the low,
At least a million.
over $1 million, over $1 million for sure, somewhere in the 1.3 or 1.4. But yeah, still a huge jump for him as ETSU is back in a coaching search.
It would be a lot of fun if ETSU went after Cade Bell and had a little Bell versus Bell rivalry in the SoCon. That's his name, right? Cade Bell, the OC at Pitt.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, Kerwin's son. That'd be sweet. They're not going to land him, but they should try. One other portaler, Jamal Thompson, announced this week. I'm a little surprised. I mean, I guess we're just losing so many seniors. There's just not a ton of guys that could portal. But so far, only 4 guys that we saw on the field have portaled, which is not terrible. But all right, basketball. Ken Palm, a lot of movement. Grant, Mike, one of y'all take it away.
Samford, or I'll lead off with this, and Mike, you can take the rest. Samford is now 87th in the net, which is 19 spots higher than Kansas State and 86 spots higher than Miami. So just a couple random teams I kind of picked off the top of the dome here, but yeah. So yeah, big jump. Samford moves from 109 to 87.
They aren't related to Samford.
That is some
at
P4
all.
teams. No, they are not at
No
all.
way.
They're just some random teams.
Geographically diverse teams across the country.
I just went, I wonder what, let's say, Kansas State. I wonder where they are. Oh, cool. Let's say there's another school. We don't want another Big 12 school. Let's go ACC. I think Miami's a good school. Let's just see what they have to offer. And, so, yeah, big jump for Samford.
I'm going to ruin your joke, but I just realized that Tennessee plays Miami this week, so I get to watch AJ. That's really exciting.
Sick.
Yeah, he actually gets playing time, unlike the other.
He does actually get playing time. The rest of the current rankings. So Samford does sit atop the SoCon in Ken Palm rankings at 115, ahead of Furman by 1, who's sitting at 116.
Let's go.
Then ETSU and UNCG are not far behind at 129 and 139 respectively. Big surprise is UTC is sitting at 202, 251 net.
Shocker.
What are our thoughts on the boys from Chattanooga this year with those
They
2
suck.
returning guards?
And we love it.
They haven't had a healthy team for most of the year. They've been missing like some guys coming through, so I'm sure they'll be better than what their record indicates. But yeah, it's been a slow start for them to kind of battling with their early injuries. But
yeah, did they lose to Austin Peay? Or am I imagining that?
They did, but that was the real Austin Peay team.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was the healthy team.
Yeah.
Anyways, in the net, Samford's at 87, as Grant said. Furman is at 78. So Furman does sit atop the SoCon in net rankings. A couple spots ahead of
Those
Samford.
are fake rankings, though.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah, they don't mean anything to me. Yeah. Ask me again in a couple weeks, and I'll let you know if they mean anything to me or not.
Yeah, I'm thinking, was the last time we had two SoCon teams in the top 100 of the net or that
Last
high
year.
up in the hundreds? Were they really?
Yeah, Furman 2 years. That Furman team 2 years ago was close to 50. And we were in the 70s. We were in the 70s, and they were 50. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's pretty common for us to have at least 2 top 100s. If we had 3, that would be incredible.
We'll see what happens in the next week is some competitive games. You saw that SoCon John actually predicted a Samford upset against Arizona next Wednesday. So let's see
the
how
biggest
that goes.
paladin of them all. Picking
the great Oracle. SoCon John.
I love that, Jeb. The great Oracle. Yes, he is. He is the the SoCon what not mystic, but he's the grandfather of the SoCon, or I gotta think of a good word. He's been there, he's seen it all, has the best perspective.
He's the Furman guy that does have brain cells. So
Yeah.
There you go. Actually knows what he's talking about. Funny enough.
He's like the only one that knows what he's talking about in general.
That's fair, yeah.
All right, keep going.
I don't know, SoCon Mike though.
His son.
I could see it. You told me to go on.
Okay. Now that I say that, I can see it.
Yeah,
I'm looking at you.
I was queuing you up.
Yeah, Mike. Finish off. Who sucks?
You want to hear? Let me just run through the list. So I'm going to go Kim Palm first. I'll just go both. So Samford, Kim Palm, and net 115.87. Furman 116.78. ETSU 129.133. UNCG 139.129. Wofford 151.176. UTC 202.251. Mercer 230.203. Western Carolina 308.341. Citadel 329 and 335. And then shocker here, VMI 341.351.
Do we know? So those are pretty wide spreads between the Ken Palm and the net. Do we know as the season goes, do those ever tighten up, or do they just measure different things? Because
we had like a deep dive of this last year, and it's also
2 years ago. I think
they measure different. They measure different things.
Yeah.
Like one of them is predictive, the other one is passive,
reactive. I don't know.
Yeah,
results oriented.
We don't have any word. We don't have any brain cells to figure this out at this point. An hour.
Yeah, we're good. We have a built-in excuse. That's why I couldn't come up with a name for SoCon John other than
John
of the SoCon. How dumb is that?
I'm sure he'll appreciate that. Yeah.
I think that the most surprising thing, other than UTC being in the 200s, hopefully they climb back out of it. I mean, I like it when UTC's a little good.
They'll come around.
Be retroactive would probably be the right word for that, by the way.
You know what? Jeb has 99% of the brain cell. Thank you, Jeb. Western. Scrapping it out in the 300s is an absurd fall. It wasn't too long ago that Samford was hanging out in the 300s, but we aren't Western, you know? Western has a much stronger basketball tradition than the Bulldogs. We are most definitely the new kids on the block. So that's got to be the shocker.
Sam, I'm trying to find real quick. In 2018, Samford finished 10-22 and 298 in the Ken Palm.
Let's go. Didn't break the 300. Let's go.
We won
298. That's terrible.
Yeah, this is a disgusting Ken Palm page. 2018, which was Paget.
Just left.
2018, yeah.
What was 2019? Wasn't 2019 Paget's last year?
Oh my God, hold on. 2020 or 2019, we were 144. Hey, a game over 500. Look at us. Who would have thought? Not us. And then it's a little backwards because in Paget's last year, we were 10-23, 321 in Ken Palm. Disgusting. And our only conference wins were Citadel and VMI. We swept Citadel and VMI and lost to everybody else.
Did you say Hatcher or Paget?
I said Paget.
Yeah, I'm joking.
God.
Yeah, like the football teams ranked with all the basketball. How far does Ken Palm go back? I think it's 2005 or something like that.
I've got 1997. We were 251 in Ken Palm. Look at that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what were we in 99 and 2000?
Great question. 99, we were 113th. 2000, 113th as well. So, yeah.
Okay. So those were tournament years.
Correct. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What were we last time?
Jimmy Tillett was the head coach. Jimmy Tillett.
That's where we come from. Tillett. Yeah. Last year we finished 81st in Ken Palm.
Okay. We can climb, baby.
Man, Paget's last year was bleak. Good Lord.
Yeah, it was bad.
Disgusting.
All right, Mike, bring us home. State of the Bulldogs. One segment.
Only other sport we're talking about is women's basketball. After a rough November, the Lady Bulldogs have started off 2-0 with wins against North Alabama and Miles.
Get the dog.
So Thursday on the 5th, they had a tough overtime win against North Alabama. 6'5" forward Emily Bowman.
Yeah, our best player.
Indy transfer, our best player.
Insane.
15 points. Trying to see how many blocks she had. 21 rebounds, 14 defensive rebounds, 8 blocks.
Oh my God.
That's
almost
insane.
Got a triple-double with blocks.
She put the team on her back.
Insane.
Literally. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that was a great way to start off the month.
Yeah.
I think she stays at Samford just to pad her stats career-wise, She knows she's the team. So why leave? Yeah, we're going to get rocked by TCU on Tuesday. It's going to be a Tennessee type L.
Haley Van Lith and the squad don't know what's coming for them. So
I forgot TCU. So random.
It's going to be tough, dog. It's going to be tough. Boys, we really hope we elicit some more Furman message board chatter. That please bring on the hate. Bring it on.
Sam, you cut me off. We had another basketball game to talk about.
Oh, I said we're going to get wrecked by TCU.
No. Samford beat Miles 82-41.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Come on, guys. Big win. Big dub.
40-point win.
Yeah,
Miles shot 13% from 3.
Miles isn't.
Samford's 41.
Miles is D2.
Yeah, they're in Birmingham, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I think we've played them a couple times.
Yeah, I feel like we played them in football too.
Maybe it was a couple years ago. Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Anyways, that's all I got.
Thank you, Michael.
I did have one more thing before we get out of here. We forgot a couple weeks ago. I guess we can save it for later. But baseball schedule dropped a few weeks ago. I think we mentioned it. But Feb 14th is the opening series against Valpo, and then today softball schedule dropped, and their openers Feb 8th against North Texas. So we do have schedules for both fall sports, or both winter sports, spring sports. Good Lord, spring sports. Good Lord.
Yeah, we'll talk about baseball. We'll talk about the schedule in our baseball preview. But word on the street, our baseball team is good, like real good, like 2 elite pitchers good.
Like Omaha good?
Like maybe might win the regional good. We'll see if the cards shake out. We lost a lot, but we brought back enough. And we always have a couple freshmen that pop. So, yeah, baseball is going to be exciting. Anything else, boys?
think we've used all of our brain cells for the evening. I think we ran out.
Yeah, I'm ready to tap out. I mean,
yeah,
we're crawling along here. I'm surprised we can still put words together.
I'm going to go. No, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I just thought baseball was a winter sport, so
I'm gonna go
that's where my mind is right now.
What are you going to do, Jeb? Do not make me edit this podcast. What are you going to do, Jeb?
It's a little chilly out here on the street, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to go to bed.
Go get in your box, Jeb. Go get in your box.
Let's see if I have any quarters for you. I'll come by in a little bit.
I need to go get up on. Yeah, you crawl up under the underpass.
Might have to go ask a Birmingham Southern grad if they got any loose change. All right.
I think we've reached the point. Yeah.
Cannot wait to talk about the Arizona game next week. We'll have the preview out. It's going to be, the game is Wednesday. The episode drops on Wednesday. So you got about 12 hours to listen to the preview. But that'll be a fun one to break down, especially with SoCon John saying we got a shot. Man, how electric would that be entering conference play? A little dub against Arizona.
They're struggling. They're only 4-4 right now.
We like that. It's just too bad they have about 8 7-footers going to the NBA. But yeah, with that, State of the Bulldogs. Oh, what, Grant?
Sorry, portal tracker on the website for football. If you want to check that out, it will be updated as we cipher through this portal season. With the portal opening today as we record, so that's it. Between
now and February, we will have a lot of signings. So that's where you will find it all consolidated. With that, the State of the Bulldogs is out. Hoping Ashton Genty wins the Heisman this weekend. Hope you all have a great week.